Hi, readers. As a reminder, I'm Mrs. Grimes and your guest teacher, and welcome to your second day of your new unit of study, which is on close reading of texts. And we read A River Ran Wild by Lynn Cherry yesterday. We did 4 stop and jots to collect our thinking. What are our ideas? And adding on to our ideas, thinking, am I collecting any clues that the author is leaving me? So today, as we are going through A River Ran Wild, we are going to put our detective work in action on text structure. When you are a reader of nonfiction or fiction, it is great that you actually figure out what the text structure is ahead of time so you can think, I'm collecting my thoughts in a specific kind of way. You are actually predicting and knowing what to expect in the way that the story is laid out. So just a quick recap. The word genre, types of writing, and we have fiction and nonfiction as our big categories. And inside fiction and nonfiction, we have something called narrative fiction, narrative nonfiction. Narrative fiction is with story elements, and I'll just give you a quick reminder, like Chrysanthemum, problem and solution is in there. And we have narrative nonfiction, and that would be A River Ran Wild. I'm going to give you a little compare and contrast here because this story is true. It's nonfiction, true story with real facts. It happened. Well, so is this as nonfiction, A Drop of Water. However, this is not told in a story format, a story structure. It is told topic by topic around the large topic of water. So after you figure out what the genre is, because yes, you definitely know what biographies are. You definitely know what historical fiction is, which is coming up after this unit. And some of you have maybe read science fiction. There are other genres. I just picked out a couple. After you figure out your genre, then you go into and say, so what's my text structure? And what are the clues that the author left me to figure it out? And I'm going to say that we have the narrative text structure and inside problem and solution, like Chrysanthemum, compare and contrast, cause and effect. Hopefully these are going, yes, I know this. My brain knows this because you just finished studying them. And we also have the sequential and chronological. We're going to go through and figure out which text structure A River Ran Wild is. Okay, so my first clue was the timeline. I pointed that out yesterday to you, and it is very important to note that yes, that's going to give us a huge clue what kind of text structure Lynn Cherry chose for this story. Timeline starts way back at 7,000 years ago, but not really. She started telling us about the Nashua Indian people at 1400, and then she left us at 1979 when the river was clean. So there's one. Just going to put them over here like a timeline. The next one, you didn't really get a chance to see it because it's way too small to read, but author's note is all about how she went about writing this book. What did she learn? Where did she learn it? And what did you do to put it into writing, into the story? The next one, so this is your clue when you're going to do this with your own book that you chose to read off of the list. I want you to go through and say, so can I tell what kind of story this is by the way that the story first lines are given to me? Like we have, so sorry, hold on. There we go. Long ago starts this page off, the first page. Long ago, a river ran wild through a land of towering forests. Long ago. The next one I found that was helping me with time moving through. One day. One day, a group of native people searching for a place to settle came upon the river valley. The next one I came upon was one day. Time is moving. The Nashua had lived for generations. That wasn't where I found it. It was in the middle of that sentence. The Nashua had lived for generations by the clear, clean, flowing river when one day a pale-skinned trader came with a boatload full of treasures. That one day is really helping me understand that times are changing. The next one I found, in the many years that followed. I'm just going to go a little bit faster now. The next one was the third paragraph down. Through 100 years of fighting. Now remind yourself, this is for our read aloud. You may not have picked a nonfiction narrative, so you wouldn't be finding these clues. The next one was at the start of a new century. We're getting a lot of these. Okay, here we go. These were times of much. Moving on. Soon, no fish. Do you feel like I'm retelling the story to you? Could you actually do some summarizing of this story through the text structure clues? The next one was Marion traveled. I chose that one because it shows that time was still moving. What was the event and how was it? That would definitely trigger my mind to remember what Marion and I think it was Oiana did to try to help the river. The next one was slowly, slowly. And then on the same page was now we walk along its banks. And then I have one more. And I love this one. Once again. So if I put it back up here, long ago, once again. I could do some nice writing off of that. Okay, so it is your turn to reread your book, look at the beginning lines of your pages and also your paragraphs and see what can you find, what sounds like they go together. It's sort of like a matching game, isn't it? All right, so I'm just going to put our narrative nonfiction up here because that is what we have. And chronological. Hold on, put it up there. Okay, text structure, chronological. There we go. I'll have to fix that. So tune back in just a little bit because we'll do some writing about how text structures have helped us with a better understanding of A River Ran Wild.